Sometimes life doesn't make sense. You wake up in seasons that feel too heavy for your heart to carry. You look around and ask, why here? Why now? Why me? You're doing everything you know to do, praying, trying, fighting, and yet the mountain doesn't move. The door doesn't open. The deliverance feels delayed. It's like you've been placed in the middle of a storm you never asked for. But what if the place that feels like your breaking point is actually the ground where your becoming begins? What if that difficult situation isn't meant to destroy you but to develop you, to strip away everything that was weakening your faith, to reveal the strength you didn't know existed inside you? You don't grow in comfort, you grow in challenge. Diamonds aren't created in soft places, they are formed under pressure. There are assignments on your life that require a tougher version of you, a wiser version, a bolder version, and sometimes the only way to produce that version is through discomfort. The struggle is the training ground, the battle is the classroom. You are being shaped, stretched, and strengthened for something greater than the moment you are standing in right now. It may feel like you've been pushed into deep waters, but you are not drowning, you are learning to swim. You are discovering that you can survive what you thought would kill you. You are learning that the valley is not a burial ground, it's a birthing place. Something is being formed in you that couldn't grow on the mountain. The wilderness isn't punishment, it's preparation. Yes, you may feel alone. Yes, the path may look unclear. Yes, the tears may fall more nights than you admit out loud. But even in the silence, purpose is moving. Even in the dark, progress is happening. Not every transformation is visible while it's happening. Some of the greatest breakthroughs grow in hidden places. You might not understand the situation right now, but one day you will look back and see how every no, every delay, every closed door was protection, how the situation that felt like the end was actually a divine setup for a new beginning. You will see that you were guided, not abandoned, positioned, not forgotten. Hold on a little longer. These hard places are unlocking strength and courage you're going to need later. You are being prepared for rooms you're going to walk into with confidence, for blessings you'll be able to carry without breaking, for opportunities that require resilience, not fear. You are not stuck, you are stationed. You are not lost, you are being led. You are not punished, you are being pushed into purpose. Your situation may be hard, but so are you. And when this is over, you won't just survive, you'll rise. When life places you in a difficult situation, it's easy to believe something has gone wrong. You begin wondering if you made the wrong decision, took the wrong turn, trusted the wrong people. But what if the very thing that feels like a setback is what's actually preparing you for everything you've been asking for? Strength isn't built in easy places. It's developed in seasons that stretch you, test you, and demand a version of you that you haven't yet met. When you're pushed to your limits, you're discovering those limits were never truly the end of your capability. You just hadn't been challenged to see how far you could really go. Sometimes the struggle introduces you to yourself in a way comfort never could. You are stronger today because of what you've survived, not what you avoided. You learned how to pick yourself back up because life knocked you down. You learned how to speak boldly because there were moments you felt voiceless. You grew patient because you had to wait longer than you expected. You learned discernment because not everyone who came with a smile had good intentions. Every pain, every battle, every disappointment has been chiseling you into someone who can carry the weight of purpose without crumbling under it. Difficult places teach you how to fight for yourself, how to heal yourself, how to believe in yourself even when you feel unsupported. Sometimes life isolates you not to punish you, but to remind you of what's inside of you. When the noise is gone, when the support is quiet, when the applause disappears, you discover that your strength was never in the hands of others. You discover that you don't need permission to rise, that you don't need validation to keep going. You learn how to stand without being held up, how to walk without being guided, how to trust the process even when it feels like progress is slow. Strength is built when things don't make sense, but you refuse to quit anyway. It's built when you keep showing up to a life that hasn't revealed the blessing yet. The people who rise high are the ones who learned how to survive low places. The people who inspire others are those who didn't surrender when life was unfair. The ones with wisdom are those who had to learn it the hard way. You may think right now that this difficulty is here to destroy you, but one day you'll look back and realize it was developing you. You'll see how every tear watered the ground for something new to grow in you. You'll realize that the weight you are carrying today is training you for the responsibility you'll carry tomorrow. Difficult places are not where your story ends. They are where your strength begins. Pressure can feel like the world is tightening its grip around you. It makes breathing harder, thinking heavier, and moving forward feel like dragging your feet through cement. But pressure is not the sign that you are in the wrong place. It's the sign that something inside you is being activated. Diamonds are only formed when coal is placed under extreme pressure. Strength only shows up when resistance pushes against you. Pressure is not here to break you. It's here to reveal you. Sometimes the very thing you think is working against you is actually working for you, building a version of you that can handle the weight of what you've been praying for. When life gets uncomfortable, when challenges come one after another, when it feels like you're carrying more than you should have to, it's easy to assume you've done something wrong. But what if the opposite is true? What if the pressure means you're exactly where you're meant to be? Growth requires stretching. Elevation requires endurance. Purpose requires preparation. And preparation never happens in a place where everything is easy and predictable. The pressure pushes you beyond your comfort zone because comfort cannot produce greatness. You are not being punished. You are being prepared to win battles you haven't even stepped into yet. Pressure wakes up gifts you didn't know you had. It forces you to think deeper, move differently, and rely on strength that was planted in you long before you needed it. You learn endurance because quitting would mean losing what you've suffered to gain. You learn resilience because there are moments you must rise even when you don't feel ready. You learn courage because fear doesn't decide whether you move, you do. Pressure clarifies your priorities. It exposes what truly matters and what never should have had a hold on you in the first place. By the time pressure releases you, you are wiser, stronger, and more capable than you were before the struggle began. There are blessings that require maturity before they arrive. There are dreams that require discipline before they show up. There are opportunities that require a tougher version of you to handle them properly. That's what pressure is doing, making sure you're prepared for the greatness with your name on it. Some doors won't open until you're strong enough to walk through them without shaking. Some tables won't welcome you until you are confident enough to sit at them boldly. You are being built for the very thing you keep believing for, and pressure is part of the process. You may not understand why so much is happening at once. You may feel like you're being stretched beyond what is fair. But one day you will realize that every heavy moment was strengthening your foundation, shaping your character, and aligning you with a future that requires more from you than your past ever did. Pressure is uncomfortable, yes. It's exhausting, yes, but it is purposeful. It means there is something extraordinary being formed within you. Pressure is the sign that transformation is underway. And though it may not feel like it right now, you are becoming the person who can carry the victory that's waiting ahead. Comfort feels good, but it rarely produces change. When everything is easy, predictable, and familiar, we settle. We stay where we are because nothing is pushing us to become anything more. But the moment life challenges us, something begins to shift. When routines are disrupted and safety is shaken, we are forced to grow into new levels of strength. Growth is uncomfortable because it requires you to stretch beyond what you've known. It asks you to step into a version of yourself that has not yet been tested. And while discomfort can feel like a sign that something is wrong, it's often the clearest sign that transformation is happening. Think about every major transition in your life. The lessons that shaped you weren't learned during the calm seasons, but in the chaos. You didn't discover your courage by sitting still, you found it while facing fear. You didn't learn persistence when everything came easily, you developed it when you had to fight your way through. Skills are sharpened under pressure, and character is strengthened in the struggle. Growth demands that you let go of who you were in order to become who you're meant to be, and that process never feels smooth. It stretches your faith, it challenges your perspective. It forces you to release the familiar even before the new becomes visible. There are some environments that can no longer sustain the person you are becoming. When you outgrow a place, you start to feel the squeeze. What used to feel comfortable now feels too small. The conversations that once entertained you now feel empty. The goals that once excited you now feel beneath you. That agitation is not a problem, it's a signal. It means your purpose is expanding and your capacity is increasing. You are not losing stability. You are being elevated out of what can no longer hold your potential. Growth demands movement. It requires you to walk away from what was easy in order to embrace what is necessary. The truth is, comfort can become a cage. You can get so used to surviving that you forget you were made to soar. You can get so familiar with broken places that healing feels foreign. You can become so attached to what is predictable that you reject what is possible. Breaking out of that requires you to choose discomfort on purpose. To say yes to the unknown, to keep walking even when you're afraid. Growth does not come to those who wait for the perfect moment. It comes to those who are willing to move while trembling. Every step outside your comfort zone is planting you deeper into your destiny. The pain of growth is temporary, but the progress is permanent. The discomfort you feel today is making space for a stronger, wiser, more confident you tomorrow. One day you'll look back and realize that the moments that stretched you were the very moments that shaped you. You'll see that everything you thought was breaking you was actually building you. Growth may not feel good, but it is always good for you, and while comfort can give you rest, only discomfort can give you transformation. Some of the most powerful work happening in your life right now is happening where no one can see it. Hidden seasons can feel frustrating because you're doing the work but not seeing the reward. You're praying, pushing, healing, fighting through days when progress seems invisible. You're growing in silence, and sometimes the silence gets loud. You wonder if anything is changing at all. You question whether you're still on the right path. You wonder if your effort matters since no one is applauding, no one is watching, no one is acknowledging the stretch. But hidden seasons are where the deepest transformation takes place. Seeds don't grow on the surface, they grow in the dark first. There are certain blessings that require a strong foundation before they can be revealed. If you were placed in a high-place season too early, the weight of the blessing might crush you, so the preparation must come before the recognition. The character must develop before the calling is displayed. Strength must be built before responsibility is increased, and that growth often happens away from the spotlight. You are being trained for a life that demands more from you than your past ever did. That training is intentional. What feels like isolation is actually incubation. What feels like being overlooked is protection while you develop what you'll need later. Hidden seasons are for refining. They expose what needs to be healed so that when you step into the next level, broken pieces don't sabotage the blessing. They teach you to find peace without permission, confidence without validation, purpose without applause. When no one sees you, you learn to clap for yourself. When no one supports you, you learn that your strength was built from within. When no one is cheering, you learn to keep moving anyway. That is the kind of foundation that keeps a person strong when elevation comes. Sometimes the silence is not the absence of progress, it's the space where purpose is getting louder. You start discovering who you are separate from what others expected you to be. You start dreaming bigger than the environment you came from. You start identifying relationships that can't go where you're going. And it becomes clear that what is meant for you will not require you to shrink yourself or beg for belonging. Hidden seasons reveal your real identity without the noise. When the time is right, everything you've been doing behind the scenes will speak for itself. The same people who wondered why you went quiet will witness the transformation that silence produced. The growth that happened in private will show up in public, and you will step into places fully prepared because you embrace the training that no one else saw. Nothing you're doing right now is wasted. Every tear, every push, every lonely night is adding strength to your foundation. Hidden seasons may feel like a pause, but they are actually purpose in motion. When your blessing arrives, you won't just receive it, you'll be ready to sustain it. A setback can feel like the end of everything you hoped for. You planned, you dreamed, you worked, and still the outcome didn't match your expectation. It's easy to assume that when things fall apart, the story must be finished, but sometimes what feels like a setback is actually a setup for something far greater than what you were aiming for. Doors close because they were too small for the version of you that is emerging. People walk away because they can't travel with you into the next chapter. Opportunities disappear because something more aligned is being prepared in the background. Instead of seeing a dead end, you're being redirected toward destiny. Life has a way of clearing the path when you are headed somewhere significant. You may not see the purpose in the moment, especially when the loss feels heavy, but what you're losing might be making room for what you truly need. That job that didn't last may be freeing you for the one you'll thrive in. That relationship that broke your heart may be teaching you to love yourself more deeply. That plan that fell apart may be pushing you toward a purpose that requires more strength than the old plan would have ever developed. Setbacks stretch you in ways success never could. They sharpen your vision, force you to rethink, and push you to grow beyond what comfort allowed. Every time you thought it was over, you discovered there was still more inside of you. Every time you were knocked down, you learned how to rise stronger. Setbacks remind you that you can survive disappointment and still move forward. They teach you resilience. They teach you how to pivot and how to rebuild. They turn uncertainty into creativity and pain into fuel. When life rearranges your plans, it's not taking something from you, it's pointing you towards something better aligned with who you're becoming. You may not recognize it right away, but one day you will look back and thank the doors that closed. You will appreciate the prayers that weren't answered the way you expected. You'll realize that staying where you were would have limited who you were destined to be. Some blessings can only come after you've been pushed out of what felt safe. Some elevation requires separation. It isn't easy, but it's necessary. You were not created to settle in a comfort zone. When life disrupts your routine, it's because you're meant to climb higher. What feels like a breakdown is making space for a breakthrough. The disappointment you're facing might be preparing a surprise you couldn't have imagined. There is a greater plan unfolding, one that doesn't stop with the setback. You are being positioned, not punished, redirected, not rejected, and when the setup is complete, you will step into a new season that makes you grateful you didn't settle for the one that came before. There are moments in life when everything feels paused. You're doing your part, but nothing seems to be moving. You look around and see others advancing, but your own journey appears to be stuck. It's frustrating, confusing, and can make you question your worth. But being still doesn't always mean you're stuck. Sometimes you are exactly where you need to be for what comes next. What you call delay may actually be divine positioning. You are being aligned with opportunities, connections, and growth that couldn't arrive if you were rushing through life trying to make everything happen on your own. Being positioned means you are being prepared. You are being strengthened for a season that will require more from you, more courage, more wisdom, more stability. This season is shaping your sensitivity to purpose, training your endurance, and refining your discernment so that when the right opportunity comes, you'll recognize it. You won't sabotage it with insecurity or impatience. You'll walk into it confidently, knowing you didn't force it, you were prepared for it. Sometimes the greatest blessings need time to mature before they can be placed in your hands safely. Positioning also protects you. There were places you wanted to go, but they weren't equipped to handle who you are becoming. There were relationships you tried to hold on to, but they were too fragile to carry your future. Doors that didn't open weren't failures, they were shields. You were kept from walking into environments where your purpose would be undervalued, misunderstood, or mishandled. You weren't denied, you were preserved. You weren't overlooked, you were sheltered while your growth continued out of sight. There will come a moment when everything you've been waiting for suddenly aligns. The clarity will come, the answers will come. The opportunities will come, and when they arrive, you won't feel overwhelmed, you'll feel ready. You'll look back on this seemingly still season and realize you were moving the whole time. Every quiet day was working for your good. Every delayed yes was setting you up for a better one. Every slow step forward was actually placing you right where you needed to be. So don't rush what's meant to evolve. Don't resent the quiet chapters, they are just as important as the loud victories. There is purpose in this pause. The positioning is intentional. Your steps are being ordered right into a future that holds more than your fears ever allowed you to imagine. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not stuck. You are being positioned for greater.